And welcome to another amazing guest with another amazing topic. And I'm so excited to have my newfound friend, Brenda Blidenbach, to be on here with me. And we're going to talk about grounding your gut health. It's a fascinating topic. I know that everybody is really concerned about their health and what's happening in the world with how the world's affecting our health and our emotions and our health and our food and our health and all things. And you know what everybody says, and I know you would love for me to say this, Brenda, but it's true. It all starts in the gut. It
Yes.
all starts in the gut. So give me a moment to say hello to people that are on, and then we'll start from there. And I want to tell everybody that we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we are on YouTube. And I want to make sure that we're on Instagram. So hang on one second. Yep, we are. I don't know why it says go live. I mean, we are go live, right? Yeah, we're live. Um, I just don't know why it's not showing on my. So I have my cell phone here that tells me that we're live, and I don't see anything. I guess we are. Carson, can you double check for me? So hello, Carson, and hello, Debbie. Thank you for being here, Debbie. No intro. Need a minute to stall. Okay, thank you. Hello, happy Wednesday. Hello, Jean. Evelyn, so good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Ellen Jane, hello. Carson's checking to make sure that we are on Instagram. And if we're not, that's okay. It's okay. So tell us a little bit about you, Brenda. Tell us, how'd you get started? And
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you
you're welcome.
for having me on the show. Yes, I appreciate it. That's so good
You're
of you.
welcome. How did you get started?
Well, actually, it began when I was, before I finished school, around 16. My father actually left Kuwait to go to, I mean, left India to go to Kuwait because he was offered a job there. And Kuwait, now remember, this is decades ago, was a desert. He worked for the Kuwait Oil Company for oil, and there were no there was no housing, no schools, no hospitals, nothing. All of them, everybody, even the big shots, had to live in a tent for 2 years
Wow.
while they built, homes and etc. So my mother didn't even go there for 2 years after my father left. In the meantime, he developed pre-diabetes, but didn't know about it. Even now, people don't know it because the body is always working to get rid of the sugar, etc. And so, by the time years later, was had full-blown diabetes, and even then, he really didn't know what was happening. And his friend, who was a laboratory technologist, said to him, "JB, bring me a specimen of your urine and I will test it because I think you have diabetes." And sure enough, he did. And it was full blown. I mean, it was extreme. Couldn't have gone any higher. And he had to go on insulin right on the get go and high doses 3 times a day.
Wow.
So, yeah, so he told me the story. And I thought, oh my goodness, imagine that you could find this out just through a specimen of urine. I was intrigued. So when I finished school, that's what I decided to do. Take, take training to be a laboratory technologist. I went to the UK and then I specialized in bacteriology, all about bugs and fungi and parasites and all that kind of stuff. And got my degree, my diploma, and came to Canada, worked at a big hospital here in Vancouver, even teaching students because you have to mentor them. Anyways, so I worked for almost 20 years in this field. And then I found out I had type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
And I was told, you can only manage it There is no way you can do anything about it, and you will have to live with it for the rest of your life. Well, you can imagine. I felt so hopeless and so powerless, not being able to do anything and having to prick my fingers. Do you know what that is like, Elias? Just think of it.
Oh, no, thank you. No,
Every
thank you.
day, 3 times a day, plus give myself shots. So 6 times I'm doing this a day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And anyways, I thought there must be something I can do to lower these insulin medication, and at that time I was taking like 22 to 24 units of Humulin 3 times a day. Now that's a lot of insulin.
Sure.
So about 8 years ago, guess what? I found out it could be reversed. Oh, I was so happy. And I thought, I'm going to do everything I know to learn about this. So I took courses, I did my own research. I'm a research geek. And here's the difference. I implemented everything that I learned. And I brought down not only my sugars, but of course my insulin. That's what is the most important thing. I brought my insulin down, over a period of time. And now I'm only taking, it fluctuates between, sometimes it's zero point 0.5 to about 3.5 a day, twice a day. So can you imagine the difference? That's
Of course.
amazing. Yeah.
Imagine the people that are, and I am pre-diabetic right now. My A1C is 6.3, so
Yeah.
I'm pre-diabetic.
High. Yeah.
Don't want to be diabetic. And it's interesting to me because think of all the people that could really benefit, especially the pre-diabetic ones, could benefit from that. I want to say hello to a couple people before we continue. And then we're going to tell everybody Brenda's age. She gave me the okay to say it. So you were going to flip out because when you clear out your gut, skin is clear, hair is clear, everything is just like, just phenomenal. Hello, Delora. Thank you for being here. Dina, hello. Karen, Susan, Chris, Leslie, hello, my friend. Sister Sledge, hello, Diane. Good to see you. And she's lovely. She is lovely. Brenda's very lovely. And Susan says you're diabetic. And hello to Wit and Willow on Instagram. Thank you for being here. And Marmo, you were on Instagram. You hopped over Facebook. That's okay. It's all good. It's Cassandra Lee. Hi, Cassandra. Hey, Eunice. Thank you for being here. She looks great, doesn't she? Hello, Gina and Kat. Good to see you. Kathy, good to see you. Look at everyone's coming on because Debbie's also diabetic. Okay, tell everybody. Ready? Brenda, how old are you?
I turned 81 in July.
81, you guys. When I found that out, I was like, what? 81. Look at how clear your skin is. You're just, I know, no way, right? No way. No way. Susan's like, oh my God. Yes, totally. I know. Cassandra's probably like, oh my God. She's gonna take her cornbread and go, what? Evelyn, absolutely. That's how my holistic doctor started my healing, cleaning out the gut. I love that. Karen's like, what? You look fabulous, right? Jill's like, what? I'm shocked. You look amazing. Evelyn, wow, amazing. I know. Goodness gracious, says Cassandra. Thank you. So, what is the secret? What is the secret with starting to focus on the gut? How do we get grounded in our gut?
Yeah. So, one of the ways that people know that they are having problems with the gut, we don't want it to get there, but usually that's what happens. Even though some of these symptoms could be related to other things, most of the time it's to do with gut health. And so the first thing that one realizes is all the symptoms that one has. Things like diarrhea and constipation, acid reflux, GERD, heartburn, Indigestion.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
There you go. You see, there are so many, Elias, that most people don't even know. Did you know that a lot of skin problems are due to gut problems?
Really?
Acne. I know it's also hormonal, but it's
Right, but
tied
it's got
in.
to come out somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, pimples and all that kind of stuff. There are so many things that people don't realize are due to problems. Something is not working in the
Psoriasis,
gut. Yeah.
hair loss.
Hair loss, weight, diabetes is a dietary problem. Did you know that?
Yes. Yes.
Dietary problem. And
Right.
we've made it other things, but it isn't. You shift your diet and you know what you're doing, then you can really not only lower your glucose levels, but the main thing is your insulin. So I teach about that. You need to have a good understanding of why you're doing what you're doing, right?
And you work with your clients.
I do,
You
yes.
have a program. You work with your clients, and guys, stay around because Brenda's got a little discount for us. So it's really important. So Dolores says, thirst, frequent urination. I notice a lot of people who find out they have diabetes have a large grouping of skin tags on their neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I did have a couple, and then it turned into keratosis. I think keratosis is from the gut as well.
Hmm.
It looks like a little scab. It's not a skin tag, but it looks actually the scab. Now Sharon's listening. What about the liver? I know.
Yeah. Now the liver comes into effect. It begins. So could I just talk
Yes,
about
please go ahead.
where it begins? Okay. So we know it has to do with the gut, and it begins actually with the mouth. Because it's one long tube: mouth, esophagus, stomach, uh, you
And
know,
out.
and then small intestine, large intestine, and out. So it's a long process and lots of things happening in between. So digestion is the first place we start. So it begins in the mouth. There's an enzyme there that breaks down initially carbs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't chew properly and you just swallow it quickly, then the carbs are not being broken down. But then when it goes down the esophagus, it goes into the stomach. The stomach and the duodenum are the two main parts that deal with digestion. Also happens further down in the small intestine. But those are the two main aspects of digestion. And so when you don't have enough of hydrochloric acid, that's the first part of digestion in the stomach, that will give you a lot of these symptoms. So let's talk about why we need hydrochloric acid. And there are many reasons, but I'm only going to touch on two main reasons. And the first thing is, did you know that it doesn't matter what you do with your food, it has bacteria, all kinds of microorganisms in it. So when you eat it, you've got microorganisms in it. And hydrochloric acid is very acidic. The pH is 0.8. Can you imagine if you dropped a drop of hydrochloric acid on your skin? What do you think it would do? Burn a hole, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we need the stomach acid to kill any bacteria or microorganisms that come through the food. And if you have low stomach acid, there's a likelihood of you getting infection in there. So that's the first one. But the other thing is, this is so important. You need hydrochloric acid to break down protein. So that steak you've eaten, the turkey, the hamburger, and even vegetarians, they don't eat the meat, but they have to break down the beans.
Right.
And it's carbohydrate and protein there, but breaking down the beans, the lentils, the paneer and all the rest of it, right?
Yes.
So if it's not broken down, it's going to be you're going to have undigested particles going through eventually, and then that can do all kinds of things in the gut. So you need hydrochloric acid. So that's the first thing, is we find out from your symptoms, have you got low hydrochloric acid or not?
Mm-hmm.
Then, so it's mixed up. All the food is mixed up with this hydrochloric acid. Then it goes into the duodenum. That's the first 10 inches of the small intestine.
Right.
And it, remember, you have to neutralize this food, because if it is not neutralized, it will be too acidic to go down this small intestine and then the gut, the colon. And it's going to do the same thing. It's going to make little holes in your gut lining. And
Sure.
the body doesn't want that. So do you know what the body does? It's so clever. It will take all the water that's available, bring it all into the gut to dilute the hydrochloric acid. And then it's too much water. So it rushes it off very quickly, exits it. But in the meantime, you've got all this water, right? And so you get diarrhea. That's
Right.
one of the ways. There's another way as well, but that's one of the ways you get diarrhea. So it has to be neutralized. So that is the job of the bile. And the bile is produced, most of us know that, is produced by the liver. But it's very watery. So most people don't know what happens to this bile. What happens to the bile? It is stored somewhere. It's stored in the gallbladder.
Mm-hmm.
It's stored there to concentrate it. Because remember, the HCl is very low. Now it's 0.8 in the stomach, but by the time it mixes up with the food, it may be between 1, 2, or 3. But still very acidic. The pH is very low.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a concentrated, the bile is not concentrated, it's not sufficient enough to neutralize it. And you need, and so when the bile goes from the gallbladder into the duodenum, it causes a sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, you probably did this in school, when they were trying to make the volcano erupt.
Right.
You had vinegar and you had baking soda, and they come together and you get this big sizzle. Well, the same thing has to happen in the duodenum. You don't have that sizzle, you're not going to be able to digest the food properly.
This doesn't mean everybody to drink a lot of vinegar and baking soda. Don't do that.
No.
Just clear. Go ahead.
This is the body doing it, right?
Right.
HCl and the bile. Now, the other job of the bile is that it, besides neutralizing it, it is necessary to break down fat.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I want to bring out here, a correction, honestly, since the 80s, we've been told not to have too much fat. But here's the thing, we need fat because when the fat is broken down, the body can extract the fat-soluble vitamins from that fat. Vitamin A, D, E, and K. You need these vitamins. I won't go and talk to you because we don't have enough time about what we do.
But let me just tell you, I got a lot of fat to break down. I mean, it's like, I'm just kidding.
Yes. So that comes in again with the diet, right? So I'm talking about dietary fat.
I know.
Right?
I'm making a little joke to keep up.
I know.
Everybody engaged. We do have a couple questions. So
okay.
Finish your points in the middle.
All right. So this is why these are the two aspects of digestion that we need. And so people are missing the HCl. You have a whole bunch of problems, symptoms. But then if you have enough HCl but not enough bile, or the bile is not so much, sorry, let me correct that. If you have bile, but it's too thick and
Mm,
it's not dropping down properly, then you can have that scissor because it's too slow. It's not coming in at the right time when the food is there, right?
right.
And the other thing, the other reason we need fat is because we have, by the way, do you know how many cells we have in the body? It's mind boggling. It's around, and they give you all um, numbers, and actually there's a correction. They used to say you have over 100 trillion, but it's around 30 trillion cells in the body.
Mm,
Can you imagine? So every cell, to make the cell wall, you need fat. So can you see, if you don't have enough
right.
fat?
Exactly. Exactly. That's just it's mind blowing to me, but it makes a lot of sense, right? I think we're told so many times, just like before, don't have caffeine, have caffeine. Eat butter, don't eat butter. Have margarine, don't have margarine. It's all the it's people get crazy. I remember back in my day, Brenda, that there was back in the 70s, there was this thing called accent. It was a salt substitute. I don't know why that people, I mean, it had MSG in it. It's crazy,
Oh
crazy,
dear.
crazy. All right, we've got a bunch of questions. Hello, Helen Creates Beauty. Thanks for being here. We're going to go back up. And Carson says, my skin stuff is gut diet and sugar processing related. So, so true. Alvia, hello to see you. I love that she's talking about this. Me too. And Leslie is a retired nurse. So wonderful. Dolores says, see, that's why I eat so slow. Jody says, now, just so you know, Brenda, because I know this is still new, if you look on your screen, I don't know if it says private or comments. If you click on the comments, you can see everybody on the
Oh,
side as well.
oh, I see. Yes,
You
yes,
see now?
yes.
Good, good,
Yeah.
good. Yes. So Jody says, I worked at a gastroenterologist's office for 10 years. Susan says, what happens when you no longer have a gallbladder?
Ah, yeah. So the, you can still live without a gallbladder, but remember the job, the function of the gallbladder is to make it concentrated, right? So the bile is still flowing, but it's diluted.
Hmm,
So the job of metabolizing the fat and neutralizing the food is not as effective. Okay, so the thing is, you can give yourself naturally bile salts. So I have clients that have no gallbladder, and that's what I do. I recommend that, and yeah,
that's
right
fascinating.
as rain.
I didn't
Yeah.
know.
So we
I
give them the bile. Yeah.
Interesting. Dolores says, personal question. I've had all my sigmoid portion removed from my colon due to cancer. I found out this is where the colon absorbs magnesium. Are there other functions only this portion performs?
Other functions only this portion performs. Uh, I'm not sure if. Are you talking about magnesium being absorbed?
Oh,
Um,
she'll write back. Um,
okay.
Dolores, just
Um,
let her know. Let us
yeah.
know. Susan says, great question. They want to remove my entire sigmoid colon. Wow.
And why? What was the reason that they gave you for doing that?
Yeah, let us know, Susan. Chris said, I've had Crohn's and colitis for 30 years, also celiac. Diet is a major
Major
factor. I
factor.
also have a small bowel syndrome. So I don't digest much at all.
Yeah, I know. So you'd have to work at it with a coach and see how we can adjust things,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Dolores says, other functions that only the sigmoid does.
Mm.
What other functions, since she doesn't have one, what is the functions that the sigmoid um, portion of the colon does?
Yes. I'm not quite sure the other things that it does, but Laura, I could find out for you.
We'll keep you notified, Laura.
Sorry
Susan,
about that, Laura.
No, that's okay. Susan has diverticulosis.
Yeah, and again, all this is to do with the gut, and I just had a friend actually, honestly, recently in the last 2 weeks that had that, and then it unfortunately ruptured. She had sepsis, had to go into hospital. So yeah, all these things, and she had no idea anything was going on in her in her gut. So we we've got to really watch the diet then, because you don't want all that friction to take place. So you've got to make some adjustments with the diet,
Right.
right? Things like roughage has to be, you've got to be careful about what kind of roughage you have until it's healed.
This says here, by the time digested food reaches the sigmoid, most of the nutrients have already been extracted by the stomach and small intestines. But the sigmoid can extract water and vitamins from the food
Yes,
as
so
well.
it does extract like
Yeah.
vitamin K and folic acid, B12. It does do that. I didn't quite realize what you were asking. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
And it houses natural flora, correct?
Yes, so that's the other part of what is very important is the microbiome. Now,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of talk about it for the last decade, actually. It's coming to public knowledge. It's very important. Before that, they had no idea, but it's very important. So, the microbiome is really a collection of microorganisms, fungi, candida, all that. And there are beneficial microbes, and then there are pathogenic ones, and they live actually very well together when everything is going on
Mhm.
well in the gut. It's when things get out of kilter, then you have the pathogenic bacteria, the ratio go up. There's more of them, and that's when
Sure.
you have problems. So here are some of the things. The thing is, one of the reasons why diet is so important is the microbes are living organisms, aren't they? They are
Right.
like you and me. So if we eat, do you think they eat as well?
Of course.
And if we eliminate, do you think they eliminate as well?
Of course. So we've got elimination from
As
microbes.
well there, yes. But the thing is, when I asked my clients, okay, what do you think the microbes need, the microbiome? And they, you know, what do you think they eat? And they normally say to me, they eat what I eat. Exactly. So what you are eating may not be what they need.
Mm.
Okay. So what do you think? Let's ask the question. What do you think the microbes need? This is what they love. This is what nourishes them.
Barking on the truth. She's very excited. Barking on the truth. She needs a mailman to eat, is what she needs. Hang on one second. Um, so while you guys are writing that in, I'm going to Susan. Remember, Susan said that they want to remove her. Um, they want to remove her entire sigmoid colon. She said the reason for that was because they want to avoid a rupture.
Hmm.
So, Mary Jane says, my niece had ovarian cancer, had a complete hysterectomy, and part of her colon removed 10 years later. She has paralysis and everything. A couple of months, has to get admitted into the hospital because her food does not move right now. She's in the hospital. Prayers for her, Mary Jane. Continue prayers for her.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Delora wants to know, do you have an opinion on taking colostrum to aid in digestion?
Yeah, a lot of people do believe that's good because colostrum is the first milk, like a mother has, or a goat or cow, and it's very nutritious. It's
Mm-hmm.
got, because remember, the newborn
Right.
hasn't really even have a microbiome by then. It's just started to get that from if they they don't even get it at cesarean. So it only comes through natural birth, right? In the
Right.
mother's canal, right? Birth canal. So they don't have a microbiome, and they need all the help they can get. So they're getting all this nutrition from
Right.
mother's milk, and cholesterol is very, very rich. And it's only for the first week or two that you get it. I get it's a jump start.
Right.
So
Sure.
yeah, so it would help.
Susan wants to know, is prebiotic better than probiotic?
They are two different things.
Mhm.
So I am assuming you don't know what they are. So let me just inform you. Probiotic is the name given to all these all the bacteria, microorganisms in the gut, which we call microbiome. That's those are uh, those are the different individual bacteria.
Right.
Prebiotic is what you feed the probiotics, the microbiome. So remember, I was talking about that just a little while ago. What do they need to eat? What do they live on? What do they want? Yes, microbes love sugar. So we're talking about what is the best food for them. Did anybody put down anything in the chat?
They didn't. We're going to go to Kathleen's question in a bit. Kathleen, I have not forgotten you. But yeah, what do you guys think that microbes love? What do you think they eat? I'm hoping it's a hot fudge sundae. That's what I'm hoping. That or a pumpkin pie or maybe a chocolate eclair.
You're feeding all the pathogenic ones, that's for sure. Okay.
They want prebiotic, not the sugar we feed them.
Okay.
Karen saying Pizza Hut. Leslie's saying pastrami. They eat all the bad stuff. Kathleen says yeast.
Okay, so let me put you out of your misery. They actually want fiber.
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 Okay.
And the average woman needs, you could even have more, but this is the minimum. This is the required amount, 32 grams of fiber per day. And men should have more, 36, 38 grams of fiber a day. Guess how much the average North American has a day?
5.
Just a little bit more. It's less than 15. So you were close. Less than 15. So that's less than half of the amount. So you can imagine what they're doing to the microbes. We're starving our microbes. And because of that, we've lost diversity as well. There are hundreds, in fact, thousands of different kinds of microbes in there. And they're all doing a job. Now, this is such a long session. I mean, a lot to do. I can't do it all in this one
that's
session.
why we're going to have you come back. That's why we're going to have you come back. Dolores, she takes Metamucil during my nighttime wake up.
Okay, that's good. That's a prebiotic, but it's only so we need both soluble and insoluble fiber, and even resistant starch that can help, but we won't go there. So we need both kinds of fiber. And so what happens is we get it from our food, but we can now also get it from a supplements, prebiotic supplements. Yeah.
Right.
And that's what's going to feed the microbiome.
So let's get into that for a moment. Debbie says, so we are fat. Our microbes are skinny.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because again, this is two different things. We are fat because of our diet and what we're eating, and it's the storage of glucose that is making you fat.
Right.
I'd love to come here and just talk about that, because
we should. I'll do that. Right before Thanksgiving and Christmas, we can just talk about it. Kathleen has a question. What are your thoughts on gastric sleeve bypass surgery?
Yeah, so when people, usually people have that when they are obese and they can't digest the food and all that kind of stuff. So the food, they have that bypass so that the body can do it in a different way. Unfortunately, a lot of people that have had it after a few years, they have the same problems again, and you lose a lot of nutrients and everything through that bypass.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure how, um, you know what, if they're willing to do the work to change that. I'm not sure, but I haven't gone there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think that if anybody has had it done or is considering doing done, I would say you'd have to work with a nutritionist, a health and wellness coach. You'd
Yeah.
have to work with somebody to really stay in alignment with what is happening and what is moving, and it's really just doing that work. Um, Abby says, I just joined. Hi, Abby. I just joined, but I absolutely love this and her. I'm glad you do. What food is best to get more fiber? Laura said, that's a lot of broccoli.
Actually, it is. But anything, any greens, all your vegetables and your greens. Now, here's the thing. Even though that is good and I recommend it, I talk about it all the time. Here's the problem. If you happen to be, if you happen to have weight, a lot of these things like, so here's the thing. The other thing that gives you a lot of fiber are things like lentils and beans, and
Mhm.
but it also has a lot of carbs.
Mm,
So you've got to watch. It's better to have uh, vegetables that give you all that you need but are low in carbs.
mm.
So medium carb vegetables. So for instance, root vegetables, what do you think? Are they medium carb vegetables or high carb vegetables? Things like potato. I'm just giving you some
Oh, I
examples.
think that's
Potatoes,
potato is
parsnip, carrots,
a high carb,
high
definitely.
carb.
Yeah.
Most root vegetables are high carb vegetables.
Hmm.
So this is what I mean. It depends on what kind of carbs you have. Not all carbs are the same.
Sure.
Okay. So that's another thing. So just saying, you know, uh, have vegetables, it's a good thing, but what kind of ones are you having?
Right. I was gonna let's see if I can do this. Me pressing buttons, I don't know. I was hoping that you were gonna talk about this, and I'm looking and I'm not seeing where it was, but I was going to have it here, and that is not it. Darn it. I was looking for I know that there was something that I did long time ago, and it was really, really a wonderful thing about knowing what vegetables to eat and which ones not to eat, especially when you were increasing your fiber. I remember that, and I just can't seem to find the gosh darn thing, but that is okay. Um, so carry on. Go ahead and tell them. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I'm not quite sure I've
Oh,
just
just talking about what you were saying about the what would be low carb vegetable.
vegetables. Okay.
Yes.
Things like broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower and zucchini. All these are, uh, peppers, all kinds of peppers, red, green, yellow, or orange. Now, the high ones, as I already said, potatoes, parsnip, carrots, um, and mainly root vegetables
Mm,
are high in carbs. And so the whole thing we probably know, I'm assuming that you know that carbs are, are the body turns them into what? Glucose,
glucose, right?
right?
Right.
So the more of these vegetables or high carbs that you're eating, they're still being turned into glucose, and that raises the level of glucose in your blood. And you're only supposed to have a certain amount. After that, this is a completely different subject, but since we're here, the body does not want to have that high amount of glucose in the blood because it's very damaging. So it
Hmm.
tries to get rid of it, right? How
Right.
does it get rid of it? It talks to the pancreas, says, I need insulin.
Mm.
Insulin is the key that opens the door, the receptor site on every little cell to allow the glucose from the blood to get into the cell. People don't realize that, I'm eating this food, it's being turned into whatever, good stuff. It goes into the blood. But that's not the end. That's not the end of the process. It can be in the blood, but if it doesn't go into the cells, it's not going to do the job. It's not going to give you the energy you need because it has to be turned into ATP, energy. Okay? So this
Makes
is what happens. And then anything extra will be made into fat eventually.
I did happen to find something. Let me see what you agree about this. This is fascinating if we can do it. Let's see. We do have time, so hang on one second. We'll get to people's okay. Oh, this is really good. Do seasons affect how we digest?
I don't think so. I just think that this may have an effect. According to the seasons, you would have different food. Now, here, once upon a time, our ancestors, even our great grandparents, it
Hmm.
was still very seasonal. You couldn't get the kind of food that you had in the summer, in the winter. But now we can still get strawberries all year round and everything that we need because we're getting it from other parts of the world, right?
Hmm.
So it's like almost the same. You're eating the same things over and over again, whether it's the summer or the winter. Maybe there could be some vegetable that you're not getting fresh, maybe like asparagus.
Hmm.
It's not. It's very seasonal, right? But you still can get asparagus frozen, you know,
You
or
can,
you can get them pickled or whatever, right? So in today's day, like today, I don't think the seasons matter because the food is the same all the time.
right. Let's see. Uh, Kathleen says, I felt starved having certain food intolerances, stomach issues, and acid reflux. What would you suggest as a first step to pinpointing what the cause, what causes these symptoms are? PCP didn't offer much help besides suggesting Prilosec.
Yeah. So usually what I do is I give people that have any kinds of gut symptoms, I get them to take a quiz. It's very easy, 11 or 12 questions, and they're just yes or no. And that's for you to
Hmm.
have a look and see what your symptoms are. And then from there, because I am Western medicine, unfortunately, deals with just the symptoms,
Right.
right? And we really need to get to the root cause. And the first thing that I talk about is finding the root cause. And then when you find the solution, that's the second thing. You find the solution once you find the root cause. And then you implement the solution.
Right.
So the quiz will give you an idea if it's just one or two or three. And some people, believe it or not, have 5 or 6 issues there. So it means they really have to work on bringing it in alignment. And it doesn't mean you have to do a lot of different things. It's usually stemming from that one root cause.
Can you see Dolores' comment?
Would you like the link for the? Yes.
Yes, if you could
Please. Yeah.
That's nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Abby, you won't believe how old Brenda is because she has a clean gut. Guess, because I know you came a little later. Guess how old, Abby? Guess how old Brenda is. And those of you that didn't hear what she said, you all are going to be shocked. I want to see what she says. Here is the quiz, guys. Go to quiz.Brenda Blidenbach. No, you don't. It's not. It's Blidenbach, not ch. .com. But just copy that and you can go to the quiz. Brenda, can you give us your daily meal plan? Still dropped over your age and beauty. I know.
Thank you. You guys are so kind and so
Abby,
generous with your
Brenda just turned
compliments.
81 years old. She just turned 81. I was shocked. Brenda and I met at a conference online, at a Women's Summit conference that I was I was a speaker at. I wasn't keynote speaker, but I was a speaker at. So Abby said 47.
Thank you, Abby.
I learned about oxalates and stopped eating some veggies.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep an eye on my digestion if I'm to lose fiber. What's the best veggie for fiber?
Yes, I already went through that, but I'll go through that again. Now, the oxalates, could I just talk about that? The oxalates, actually, this is one of the things that the microbiome helps you with. These microbes are incredible. Once you learn, I'd love to teach about it. They break down oxalates. So it means if you're having problems with oxalates, you don't have the specific, and that's not just one, but those microbes to break down the oxalates.
I love that.
Right? And you go through in another process so you stop eating them, but really that is not the solution. It is temporarily till you find the fact, to give this is why we need the proper probiotics.
And I was going to say, I love that you are so passionate about this work and you really know your stuff. Really, truly.
Could I just say one thing?
Yes,
the reason I love this stuff is, I teach I begin with the physical aspect of all of us, but we're not just physical, as you know, Elias.
Right.
We have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have a spiritual body. So if you don't keep this body well tuned, you can't, and the other bodies, you can't really do the work that not only are you called for, but you can't enjoy life the way it's supposed to be enjoyed. I think of this example that I actually saw happen. I had a mug and it had a crack in it, and I didn't realize it had a crack. And I put coffee in it or hot chocolate. And the next thing I knew, the whole canter was full of hot chocolate. And I thought, what the heck's happened? And there was a crack. All that liquid came out of the crack. And that's the same thing with the body. If you don't look after it, you don't have the energy. It's just going out. You don't have the energy. You get depressed. You get frustrated. You get angry. All those kind of things, right? So that's where we begin. And it's the container for spirit. Is it not? Right?
Of course. Yeah. You teach that piece as well. Thank you. I've had a problem with oxalates, just learned about them and don't want the toxin in my body. Love it. Abby says, beautiful analogy. So I'm going to show something, you guys, that I've done and I've had, and I just want to get your feedback, Brenda, on it. Okay, let's see. Ready? Let's see how high tech I'm going to be in a second. Okay, so I've done this for the first 30 days. I've done this. I've eliminated dairy, gluten, soy, peanuts and peanut butter. I've gone through this whole thing: coffee, alcohol, all fruits except limes, lemons, green apples, and berries. I've eliminated before, not now, pork, all these things. And then I've included all the stuff on the right: brown rice, almonds, almond butter, non-starchy vegetables. We talked about that. So what is your, Well, here it says legumes, and I know that that's not the best now that you're telling me. Um, but what's your feel about this?
It's not bad, actually. Now, this is a good list to begin first.
Begin first,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Do
And
this.
it's not that you can't have the legumes, just watch how much you have, right? And
Yes,
and again, it's if you are in pretty good health, you could have a lot more included, but it's when you're having health issues, you've got to watch things because that can make it worse, right?
right.
Yeah.
I think this is a great list, and I might go back to this list. I've done it before, and I noticed a huge difference. And I have to say that for us, the body feels so much better. I have more energy when I
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point.
right, and it's just wonderful. Mandy, so good to see you on here. Sharon says you're so interesting, Brenda. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you. And Sharon, I'm so glad you're on here. Isn't this fascinating? Look at all the wonderful things you've learned. I'm wondering how much water did you drink today? Just wondering how much water, Sharon, did you drink today? Just curious. So,
So,
um,
do the people know how much they should have a good, a general amount?
I do, but I'll let everybody else guess because I was shocked first when I found that out. I was like, what? Um, Thank you. Yes. So if you want to get all of Brenda's links, go to her link tree, linkt.ee/Brenda Health. And then we had all of them listed here. Thank you, Carson. And this is everything that you can find, email, Facebook. Um, Her website is how to reverse diabetes naturally now.com. So you can go there. Let's see, what are people saying? Sharon says 2.5 cups water. No, no, Sharon. No, we talked about that. Um, Half your weight in ounces.
So, your body weight,
Yes,
and then, yes, and half.
yes,
Then you
very
divide that by half, right?
yes, very good, very good. So it's a lot. I mean, when
So,
you think about it, I will tell you, God, I can't believe I'm going to say this on a live. That um, so I should be having. Are you ready, everybody? Let's divide that into 8-ounce glasses. I should be having 12 glasses of water a day. 12.
yeah, that's a lot, I know. And the one thing you must realize, and you could adjust that to maybe a little less, Elias. The thing is, when you drink water, what else is happening to the body? Now, you need the water. Doesn't everybody know why we need to drink water?
It flushes out all the
Yeah,
toxins.
eliminates.
But let me just tell you, at my age, because I'll be 60 in December, I'm finding that I have to go to the bathroom more.
Yes, yeah. So you could have a little less, But the other thing it does, unfortunately, as you are eliminating these things, you're also eliminating a lot of your minerals, because,
Mm,
right? So then you have the other side. If you're not getting the minerals, not taking enough of minerals, then you get mineral deficient. So
wow,
there's a balance.
there has to be
Yeah.
a.
So don't just go, okay, I have to have 12 glasses of water. Maybe you can stop at 10,
I have
but
to say,
include minerals, because that's one of the biggest things that we are missing, especially now because there's soil depletion, so much soil depletion, right?
no,
And the
right,
plants and everything they're not getting it themselves, so we can
right,
get it.
right. We had, and um, may his soul be at rest. We had a wonderful doctor who was a functional medical doctor on. His name was
Yes.
Dr. Stephen O'Connor, and just an amazing gentleman. He was on our lives many times, and we would talk about a lot of stuff, and he would talk about prebiotics and probiotics. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. It just made a little smile on my face. Susan says this: I have 12 doctors and have never received so much knowledge. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Mandy says our bodies are made up of water as well. I don't remember the percentage, but it's a lot. Yep. Dolores says keep an 8-ounce glass next to you. Set a timer for every hour. When it goes off, finish the glass and refill. Look at how good you are. Check, check, check. And I remember, do you remember back in the day when they used to tell you had to chew your food 32 times?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy,
Yes.
crazy. Abby says there's a craze about alkaline and spring water. I know these are good, but is drinking regular filtered water still good for us?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I would recommend. Just have good clean water and make sure it's filtered for sure, because you want to get out the chlorine and the fluoride and all the rest of the stuff. Do you know what fluoride does? Oh my gosh. One of the things it does is that it calcifies the pineal gland. You know why we need the pineal gland?
I do.
Wow. Yeah, that's the third eye, right?
Right.
And that's what gets you all insights and all that kind. It opens it's the doorway to the other realm. So calcification is taking place with fluoride. This is another subject as well. All the things that we are doing, which is harming our body, and we don't realize it is.
I bought this new toothpaste by Guru Nanda,
Okay,
and it doesn't have any fluoride in it.
good.
And it's got mint, and they also have mouthwash so to it pulls everything, like you're supposed to, like, it's got coconut oil in it, and you're supposed to swish it. It's a man from India, uh,
Mhm.
but it's just it's the toothpaste is really good. So it's wonderful. Um, so what is
Can I just say one thing?
you can say many things, Brenda, but you got 2 minutes to say it. So go.
Okay, all right. So we talked a little bit about the gut biome, but do
Yeah,
you know that there is an oral microbiome,
I did know that.
skin microbiome? Yes. And
Yes.
so that's very important. So what you put in your mouth is very important. Mouthwash is a no-no. It kills all the bacteria, the good bacteria in there.
Mm.
Okay, so please do not buy it. If
Yeah.
you have some, throw it out.
That's why they had the Guru Nanda with the oil, pulling oil. Yeah, thanks, Karen.
Yes, yes.
And that's what this mouthwash is. It's like it's made for. I don't know. You have to look
Yeah,
it up.
yeah. I
So
used to do it as well. Put
yes,
coconut oil, 2 tablespoons,
yes,
swish,
yes.
swish, swish,
So
swish for
switch, switch,
20
switch.
minutes. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, what a joy you are to have on. But you are having a special for everyone that's watching or watching the replay. If they do a program with you, what are you doing for them?
Well, are they going to have this 30? Um, hmm. Well, if they wanted to do the 6 week
Right.
program, it's usually $2,500. So I'm giving it for 1995. That's the
Right.
6 weeks one-on-one.
Right. And that's 6 weeks. How many times they meet with you?
6 times, well, once a week for 6 weeks. But
Mm-hmm.
it's, yeah, so we go through a process, but it's geared to that person, because it's one-on-one. So it's completely different from somebody else, but the basics are there.
Right. And so Brenda's so knowledgeable. I hope you come back. I hope
Thank
you
you.
come
I'd love
back.
to.
I love hearing about your passion for gut wisdom, gut health, and really grounding us in this energy of the gut, which is really, really so important. Yes, thank you. It's 500 off the 6 week coaching sessions with Brenda. Susan says 6 weeks of genius. Yes, 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 yes. This has been so. Thank you so much for being amazing. Yes, excellent. And you can email Brenda at peacefulinterlude.com. Peacefulinterlude.com. Thank you. As always, so exciting, so good to hear all the information, guys. Next week we have grounding with tea leaves and writing with Tabitha. So she's going to show us how to talk to our tea leaves, everybody, or our tea leaves talk to us, and how we can write and grounding and writing and looking at tea leaves. It's going to be amazing. Little sneak peek, guys, for you, for everybody. October is going to be amazing. Please, please, please come back October. And remember, starting in October, we'll be on Saturdays instead of Wednesdays. Saturday night. That's SATURDAY night at 5 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Central, and 8 o'clock Eastern. Our first guest is the amazing Diane Ray. And Diane is one of the co-founders of mindbodyspirit.fm, the podcast that I'm on. So please, please come back. And I just want to blow her out of the water and let her know that our community is really strong. And thank you all for showing up for Brenda. I so appreciate it. Brenda, stay tuned. But thanks, everybody, for being here. Remember, we are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And we educate, we grow. There is unity in community. From our hearts to yours. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.